welcome to Mana Drain. This is episode 18. I'm Moxborn again, flying, blah, 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 blah. I have not been drinking. Flying solo this episode. Going to do a quick show today. We've got some juicy new product to talk about as far as the new Modern Masters 2017. And then we also have some products info to talk about for the new Amonkhet set, packaging for both sets, and then also some fancy new artwork, a whole bunch of good stuff to get into. But yeah, so Mana Drained is a podcast devoted to Magic the Gathering. Started originally with myself and Magic Vice. Unfortunately, Magic Vice is a little busy. He's going through a move and could not join us tonight. While he gets everything packed up and going, we're going to kind of continue the show with him, or without him rather, and then when he does get settled in, we'll get him back on here, and we can get his expertise commentary for the sets in the show. So anyway, let's dive right in, shall we? Let's see here. So first up, so it was earlier today, Wizards released on their website, and we'll pull up it right here. Pulled up on their website, they announced the Modern Masters 2017 and Amonkhet packaging. So the first thing I want to talk about is the packaging. I've been reading up quite a bit about the different packaging over the past couple years with these supplemental sets, Modern Masters 15, the second Modern Masters set, and then also Eternal Masters. And one thing that's kind of interesting, well, first off, if you're on the Facebook page watching, you head over to twitch.tv/72DPI online, and you can actually get the full version of the podcast. But what we're looking at right now is basically 3 packs of cards. The packaging for each, it looks like you've got Domri Raid, Grizzlebrand, and then an Angel, I believe, in Bant colors. I think is what she was. She's a Flying Vigilance 3/4, I believe. And something, I believe players can only untap 1 creature per untap phase or something like that. Basically a $2 rare. So I believe these will probably all be printed at rare. And then the other tidbit that we got here is on the actual box art for the packaging is what looks to be a Snapcaster Mage. New artwork, of course. So that's what everyone's speculating based on the artwork. That's just kind of what people are going for. What people are saying is happening. Is there going to be a Snapcaster Mage? So I would imagine just kind of like what they did with a couple of the other cards, Tarmogoyf and them that were originally rares. It's pretty much common knowledge that they're going to upshift them to Mythic for this set. Now, the one thing I did want to talk about, and I was watching a couple videos and podcasts and reading some commentary, and then also reading Reddit for the, believe it or not, Reddit has a wealth of knowledge about the set and about the different packaging and kind of theories and some stuff like that. But the one that I kind of grasped onto was, in the past sets, these supplemental sets, it's always been about the Mythic Rare slot, specifically that slot, and then the foil slot. As everyone knows, in these supplemental products for the older sets, Modern Masters and Eternal Masters, there's always a foil in every pack. So unlike the other sets where it's like a 1 in 6, I think it's 1 in 6, you get a foil. But Modern Masters, there's a foil in every pack, which obviously everyone's always looking to get the Mythic Rare. In the past, it's been, did you get the foil Tarmogoyf lottery type of thing? But the one thing that the one conspiracy theory or idea of this set that kind of got me going and kind of was like, that's an interesting concept, is what if Wizards, instead of making mythic rares and rares be the chase cards of the set, what if they printed awesome uncommons, right? So like in the past, it's been you're looking for the $150 $200 card with Tarmogoyf, Bob, or whatever the case may be. But in this set, what if you had a rare that was worth $10 or whatever, $15, a couple $15, a couple $10 ones, and then the uncommons, there was a whole bunch of $5 common or uncommons. So the uncommon slot becomes this really jam packed, full of value. Opening it up, obviously the packs are about $10 a piece. If you can get them at, on the cheap, they're $10 a piece. So obviously you're not getting your money back in full if you open. There's obviously going to be some some jank and some filler cards in there as well, because not everything can be usable. Obviously this set is being made for draft, so draft cards tend to be good for draft, and that's about it. There's the uncommon slots usually where draft is won. So what if they build some really good? I mean, obviously they're all reprints. So what if they give us some really awesome, high level uncommon? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go into look into a little bit about this. So I pulled up our TCG player here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So what I did was I did an advanced search for modern sets. That were greater than $5 at the uncommon slot. So this is what it came up with. It didn't come up with very much, which I was kind of surprised, because when you think about it, you're like, oh man, really some really good $5 uncommons. I think of Serum Visions and things like that. I would have said Utaxian Probe 2 months ago. However, now that it's been banned, it's been it's the prices dropped down dramatically. However, so Ether Vial would be an interesting one. I doubt they'd print it at uncommon. That's what worries me. This is what kind of throws a stone in the cog here, in the clock. It's not really uncommon-esque when you look at like the New World Order and the traditional cards that Magic or Wizards prints at uncommon. But it would be a great chase uncommon. So kind of like, I know we talked about it before, kind of like the how everybody knows Fatal Push in the standard sets in Ether Revolt is not a uncommon. It's the most rare uncommon, but it's not printed as a traditional uncommon. So Ether Vial could be in that mix. It also could be pushed to rare. I could see that happening. But if you go through a couple of these other ones, Avid Mind Sensor, Counterbalance, Counter Squall, Curse Catcher, Dryad Arbor would be a great one. Moderately played, $7, not too bad. This would be a great card. This goes into a couple different decks. It offers up a little bit of variety for decks that want to splash green. Things like that. It's a really good brewing deck, along with or a brewing card also with Gemstone Mind. That wouldn't be a too bad one. They just reprinted Inquisition of Kozilek, so I don't foresee that one being a part of it. Kitchen Finks would be a good one. And then there was Lightning Helix was the one. That one and Might of Old Corsa. Those were the two that really kind of sparked my interest. And then I got down here to Path to Exile and just realized that Path to Exile is a stupid expensive card. And even though it's been reprinted a couple times in supplemental product, it's still a double digit if you want a mint card, or a near mint card. So that would be a good one to put in there. And I kind of, after doing a little bit of research, realized that there really isn't a lot of mythics, uncommons that make that hit that quota of the $5 or more. So I like the idea of making, and then I started thinking like, well, what if they downshifted some rares that are in like the $6 to $7 range and downshifted them? But that kind of breaks a lot. It breaks a lot of the game. considering that rares are supposed to be like the not the top tier of complexity, but that's kind of like that's when you build a deck, you're building it around these 2, 3, 4, 5 rares. You're building around it with removal as your shell, which is your commons, your uncommons, and a couple of rares. So I don't foresee them downshifting any cards. So that idea kind of went out the gate. But it's an interesting concept, making the uncommon slot the chase cards. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. In reference to the Modern Masters 2017 set. So let's switch gears and scroll down here, going back to their website, and we've got Amonkhet booster packs. We've got artwork for quite a few different creatures here. A Sphinx, couple different, look like a dog warrior guy, some type of pharaoh dude. So I mean, we got some good stuff in here. And then they give us some artwork for the fat packs, which are confirmed with 10 booster packs now, so it's consistent with what it's been for the past couple of releases. You've got your pre-release pack, and then if you scroll down here, they're already naming the Planeswalkers decks for Amonkhet. So we've got a Gideon and a Liliana Planeswalker. Now these, I believe here's the full art for them. I saw a spoiler that had the mana cost for each of these, and then the top ability for each of them, but it was in a different language, so we'll probably get the actual cards spoiled very, very soon. If not spoiled, then actually in pre-release seasons, because that should be coming right around the corner, because I believe Amonkhet comes out... it says down at the bottom. What is it? It says April 22nd. So yeah, so that's we're looking at, it's about 2 months away. So you figure early March we'll start seeing pre-release or not pre-release, actual preview season start. So, but anyway, so Liliana costs 5 plus 2 red, and Gideon is going to cost 4 colorless plus 1 white. There's some -1/-1 portion in Liliana's first ability. So, could it be that Infect is back? Probably not. Wither is probably a more likely ability coming back. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. So let's see here. What else do we got? If we scroll down a little bit more, this was something else that they announced during this post. So all of the packs that are going to be coming out for Amonkhet, 1 out of 4 will have a full art basic land in them. So that's pretty exciting. Still gives you, it doesn't make them as rare or as common as they were in the Battle for Zendikar packs, but it still keeps the those chase cards going up and up and up, and keeps them in a little bit of value, gives them some some stability, and then they don't also don't get flooded. Obviously, we don't know if what's going to be included in the fat packs, or if there's going to be like a holiday bundle. Obviously, the holiday bundle would be more for the next set. So this is something that's interesting, because to me the original full art lands that's really kind of where it started, and really kind of piqued everyone's interest, and it was like, oh, these are cool because they're different. But I think they just look nicer, not because they're different, just because they look nicer. You don't have that huge text block that is completely empty. I mean, obviously people know, I mean, their one argument that they had for keeping these the traditional half artwork, half text block with the giant logo is because Wizards is under the impression that, okay, new players need to know what this means. And to me, with the giant logo, it doesn't really tell you what it does, and most people that start playing Magic are learning from somebody. Not many people will pick up a starter deck and say, okay, I need to read these rules and figure out how to play. That doesn't happen very much. So I'm glad they're kind of getting past that. I saw a couple of theories um, that want Wizards to make basically the first set of every block have full art land. I just think they look nicer, and you still have the logo of each of the mana symbols down in the bottom center. It's not as big, but the artwork, which is what is most prominent and most important, and for some people, what the game is all about, is the front and center and takes up the most real estate of the card. So I'm really excited about that change. I'm looking forward to getting these full art lands. I've already started changing all of my old decks, my legacy and modern decks. Most of them have full art land, except for the ones that are near and dear to my heart. I'm using a lot of Tempest lands and Mirage lands, because those are the ones that I originally started playing with. So those are the lands that I kind of hold near and dear to my heart. But these cards look great when I go to drafts and when I go to pre-releases. I take my full art lands with me. So it's fun to have a nice new set to take with me there. Next up is Arch Enemy. This kind of no one was really expecting this. We knew that Wizards was working with the supplemental product and like these non-traditional avenues, and Arch Enemy is definitely an awesome game to play with friends and family. Puts you against a group of people, and as the Arch Enemy, you get a set of awesome abilities, your own Arch Enemy deck and things like that. It's just another way to play Magic, and it's interesting that they're the first one that's marketed comes with Bolas, like one of the the big baddies of Magic the Gathering. So it's kind of fitting. So I really enjoy the artwork they've got on the box. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm hoping that it's not super ridiculous as far as price point goes, but we'll see. So then at the very bottom, this is kind of like the main point I wanted to talk about, is the artwork that they released. And here we'll zoom in a little bit more for your Twitch stream here. This artwork is gorgeous. Magic has always had excellent art. And you can tell that they take pride in their artwork. The artists, they're phenomenal. They do a phenomenal job. And the lore is excellent. And you could tell that there's common ground amongst all the artists. They have obviously this is what color Gideon's armor is, and this is what color Johnny's weapons are, and this is how the cloak on Liliana looks in her veil and things like that. So there's definitely consistencies amongst the artists, which is great, and I'm glad that Wizards really does a good job policing that, while still giving the artist the ability to express themselves through the different colors, the different expressions with their subjects, and even the angles that they work with. For instance, take this, a little bit of art history background here. Look at the angles in this Gideon picture, right? So you got like all this artwork is pointing you right towards this character. The viewpoint is down a little bit lower than what a normal human would be looking at. So it's almost like he's either up on a couple steps or on a pedestal, or you're down, maybe knelt down. Who knows? Maybe you're knelt down behind Bolas or something like that. I don't know. But it really kind of gives you this like awesome figure of, you've got this row from the roof of the, I guess a temple of some sort, pointing both to Gideon. You've got the edge of his whip coming right back to him, and just this awesome stance. I can't say too much about it. Outstanding art piece. They even got the Bolas horns in the background here, so shit's real. And they even got the little floating pyramids. That's interesting. So they got a little bit in there. But yeah, overall, this outstanding piece of artwork. And then there she is, Liliana. So we know we're going to get a new Liliana. We know she plays a pretty big role just because of her history with Bolus. And obviously this is, his world. So there's going to be something going on between the two of them. Not quite sure what. She seems pretty comfortable. I mean, so we'll see. We'll see what's going on. We'll see what happens if she betrays the oath or the Gatewatch or what. We'll see what happens. But hopefully we'll get a good Lily out of the deal. Nissa, just Nissa. So next, so this is where it gets interesting, and there's a lot of theories online, a whole bunch of theories. So with these new set, with the new set, obviously Amonkhet is set in. Let's see here, Nicolbolas. Obviously, this new set is set in an Egyptian theme. Let's see here, Nicolbolas, and the main the main colors of Nicolbolas is his colors of mana are red, black, and blue. So those are the colors that obviously you need to cast to or use to cast that creature or that planeswalker, depending on where what one you're playing. So the couple different schools of thought are, this is, since he is a tricolor planeswalker, he's probably going to build his plane in tricolors. So you have all these large figures. Many people are referring to them as gods, kind of like from Theros. But what they're thinking is maybe they're tricolor gods. We had the mono gods in Theros, and then dual gods in the two sets that follow. I can't remember them off the top of my head. Journey into Nyx, and I can't remember the other one, the trash one. Anyway, so one school of thought is these might be tricolor gods. But there's 5 of them. They all have different weapons, different animal faces, humanoid bodies. And then there's another school of thought that says maybe they're monocolored. And I kind of got thinking, maybe they're both. The dual planeswalker, the dual gods that we got from the previous, the Theros block, I'll just call it that, the Theros block, cost 1 of each, right? I don't know if they're going to go I'm not saying that they're going to go in hybrid mana mode, because that's not Bolas at all. Although it would be interesting if they did, because Nicolbolas is 1 blue, 2 black, and 1 red. So it would be interesting if each god had black in it and then was split, was a hybrid mana of 2 other colors. Obviously, like the one we have here, this would probably be a blue-white god. Traditionally, I mean, just the colors, the cloak, the weaponry, the things like, kind of gives you a blue, maybe even a green, since the bow kind of is like a hunter's weapon. So that's kind of one of my first thoughts. I don't know how much lore there is about Bolas with hybrid mana, so I'm not sure if that's something that's possible. My other consideration, which would be interesting, would be if there's monocolored gods, and I'm using the word gods loosely because right now we're not real sure, but we'll get into that in just a minute. But I'm wondering if they're monocolored and then their ability deals with a second and a third color. So, for instance, this one could be the white god with a blue ability that deals with blue permanents or blue creatures or blue land or whatever, and maybe green permanents. So it enters the battlefield. If you have any blue creatures in play, something happens, or all your green creatures get +1/+1, or whatever the case may be. So I'm kind of interested to see that, and that kind of leads me into my next point. I don't know if they're going to call these gods, because if you remember back in Theros block, the gods were legendary enchantment dash gods. So I don't, and they had like that the basically the star kind of overlay in some of their parts, in some of their like body parts or whatever, signifying that they were, godlike. This, you don't have this so much. Really, the only thing that you have going for you is their, massive beings, um, and you really don't have. I mean, the only scale that you really have is the few of them that have the birds in it. This one, off in the distance, you can see a little bit of bolus horns. But again, you don't know whereabouts he's standing. I mean, for all we know, he could be standing on a mountain thousands and thousands of miles away, and that's just a glimpse in the distance. The really only thing you have to go on is the birds. So if the birds are any indication of the size of these things, they're massive. So it's gonna be hard to say what they're gonna call them. I don't foresee them using devotion in this set. I just don't. I think it's too soon to go back to devotion. I know Theros was a little bit ago, but I would like to see something else. I like the idea of a monocolored being, and maybe they'll just be legendary creatures, or legendary creatures and named or whatever. There's also people saying that there might be a new card type. I seriously doubt that. I believe there's enough card types as is. Bringing in a bridge between creature and planeswalker is not, I don't believe, a good idea, unless it's something that can span multiple sets. So I wouldn't call them giants. It's gonna be difficult coming up with a term. If they do go with gods, I don't know if devotion is the correct way to go with it. I believe, monocolored beings with the two different abilities, I think, would be the most appropriate. But we'll see. I mean, I trust Wizards to develop their game. So, I'm going to play the game no matter what. So, if it's going to suck, we still got some good cards in Ether Revolt and all that to play with in Standard. So, but nevertheless, I'm trying to think. Some of the gods from Theros block did see quite a bit of play, at least at the high tournaments, and also in Friday Night Magic with some of the theme decks and all that stuff. So we'll see. I do know if they go tricolored in the casting cost, that's going to be a little, harder for them to see play. The good news is they'll probably, if they are tricolored, will probably get a reduced in price, casting costs, just because how hard it is to get those colors, and in sealed and in pre-release and draft events. So it's kind of a catch-22. Yeah, it's going to be awesome because these creatures might only cost 4. One color or one colorless and three others. And you could see a 5/5 creature that has a couple badass abilities or something like that. Yeah. So, and then that kind of also, there was a couple other threads that I was reading about how people are saying, "Oh, this would be a great time to bring back the enemy fetch lands like a Scalding Tarn and things like that." Because of how expensive those cards are, this would be a great way to reprint those and help out our modern and legacy players, as well as give these tricolor, if they are in fact tricolor gods, a little bit easier way to get into those colors. I don't know if I mean, as much as I would like to own a playset of Scalding Tarns for my Blister Coil deck, I don't know if that's exactly the right answer. I kind of would like to see them be a little more creative with their land, and if they are in fact going tricolor, or even if they're not going tricolor for the casting cost, excuse me. if they're going like monocolored and then their abilities deal with two additional colors, then give us some type of special rare slot land. That is a cycle for each of the three color pairs. So, or the three color combinations. So I'm trying to think what that would look like on paper as far as the land is concerned. Obviously, a fetch land with three colors really wouldn't make much of a difference. I mean, that would be extremely mana fixing. Those would be worth quite a bit more than themselves, the fetch lands themselves. So I'm not really sure what would be a good option for Amonkhet if they did go the three color route. Anyway, guys, well, yeah, leave in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. What you think of the artwork. Are these monocolored gods? Are they tricolor gods? What do you guys think? I believe it's one of the two. I don't think they're going to be dual colored. They did that with Bolas having this plane, creating this plane, or so that's what we think, or that's what the story's leaning towards. I think it's gonna be one color or three colors. I think since he kind of has a power trip going, that's kind of what leads me to believe that it's a single color being. Why would he want to create something that's equal to him if he's that controlling? So we'll see. But yeah, leave a comment down below if you're on our YouTube page, youtube.com/72DPI online. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about the artwork, what you guys are excited about, what you're hoping for out of this new set. So we'll see what we can get going on. And then if you have any questions or anything like that about the clan or anything, yeah, definitely you can post those in there. You could also reach us on Twitter at twitter.com/BC podcast. And we'll be back next week on Monday for the next Mana Drain. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week.